Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I want to show you what I've been up to lately, and I've been making some fall products for my Etsy shop. This is one of them. That's a memo pad, a magnet memo pad, and this is a flake sticker set. And I did all of this artwork on stream minus the very last bits. So this video will include a combination of clips from 2 different streams and then another video that is just me filming off stream. So for the stream clips, I apologize, but we need to keep the overlay and everything because if I try to get rid of it and scale up the video, it's gonna look really bad. So just feel free to enjoy the nonsense in chat as you watch me do this. So let me explain my process here and what I did, how I did everything. You can see I'm using my iPad. I started off with some sketches that I did on my iPad. I don't usually like to sketch on my iPad, but I did for these ones. And I just basically used it as a light box, and I transferred my sketches onto some Copic paper. This is a Copic sketchbook. Then I went in with my Arctic colored pencils and I started off with basically the outlines just so I could still see the sketches as I was coloring. And then I swatched out my colors. I did edit out the swatching bits for the most part, like choosing the markers. So rest assured, they're pretty much the same for most of the leaves, and then for some of the other elements, they are a little bit different, and for some of the later leaves as well, I wanted a little bit of a different color. Though in the end, for the memo pad in particular, I did end up altering the colors digitally afterwards, so they were a little more the same. But for the flake sticker set, I didn't think I needed to do that. I liked the little bit of variation that I had. So you'll see that coming up later. But we just did the same process for everything. Put down colored pencil, go from light to dark, and then add more colored pencil on top after, and occasional highlights where they seemed appropriate with mainly the Holbein colored pencil. I don't think I went in with any paint markers this time, or even gel pen. Nothing was supposed to be like shiny, you know, so I didn't really need to go too hard on any highlights. The main thing was making these look cohesive, but also like in terms of like the shape in my selection, because you can see I got a whole bunch of different reference images. These are all royalty free, by the way. I tried to choose different leaves that were kind of similar and then a little bit different in shape, a little bit different in texture and so on. I did decide in the end that one of the first leaves that I finished, it had sort of like brown spots on it, and I really liked it. I thought it looked nice. It made it look more interesting and not like a plastic leaf. So I went back to the ones I did before those and added some like dark brown spots. And then continuing on from there, every new leaf I drew was also gonna have those spots, just so it looks cohesive. Like I said, cohesion is like the #1 goal, because we want this set to look good together, because everything we make with it is going to be next to every other element. So that was the main goal. There's not like a lot for me to get into detail with. This is a kind of a longer video compared to what I usually like to post, just because it's just so many different pieces of art. But like the process was generally the same the whole time. I went down with the absolute lightest color, and then I went in with a slightly lighter color, and then moving on, I would take a darker color and then blend it out with usually not like the shade right before it, but 2 shades above it. But I never used the, what's that called, the colorless blender, because that will just lift up color, and that's okay for some things, but not for what I wanted. So I made sure whenever I was blending, I was using something that had a pigment payload, so that we wouldn't just lift a bunch of color and see the paper underneath. I don't think I had to do that at any point. Sometimes I'll do that if like something's too dark or if I need to lighten up a spot a lot, but usually if I need to lighten an area, I'll go over it with colored pencil or something rather than try to lift up the color, because that's a bit risky. Sometimes it just looks really splotchy and not at all very good. But yeah, I don't think I had to really do that here. Maybe like one section and one leaf I had to lift it a little bit, but other than that, it was pretty smooth sailing. At this point, I am trying some acrylic markers just for this leaf here and maybe another leaf after it. And I had to do a lot of trial and error to find one that actually showed up. It worked. It worked. I tried Prismacolors because they layer a little bit more opaquely than the Arctics, but it still wasn't good enough, so that's why I went in with the paint marker. And that paint marker brand in particular is not super opaque anyway. So I had to, it took me a while to find one that was going to work, but I think it looked pretty good. Because in this leaf in particular, that one right there above the one I'm currently doing, there were some like where the veins popped out, some highlights. It was like slightly lighter, whereas for most of the other ones, a vast majority of the veins were actually darker than the rest. So it was an interesting challenge, but it worked out. And yeah, honestly, I don't know what else to say. There's not much else to say about this. If you want to hear me talking throughout the process, you can always go back and watch the VODs. Those are available on my channel. Just click on the live tab on my channel. They're also on Twitch. Those will eventually disappear, but the ones on my YouTube will not. So if you want to watch this back, you totally can. You can watch it in double speed or whatever you want to, and you can hear what I'm thinking as I'm doing it. But it's basically rinse and repeat, like I said before. Same thing every time, light to dark, and then blend in between, and then add a little bit of any lighter things later with colored pencil, or add some darker bits like the spots with colored pencil as well. Not much to say about it. And also, if you see this and you're like, oh man, sometimes you're coloring outside the lines, yeah, and that's okay, because I totally plan to scan them and then clean them up around the edges, and as you can see on the finished products, they look a lot cleaner. Nifty how we can do that nowadays in the year of our Lord 2025. So I think I'm gonna stop the commentary for a little bit, because I don't have a lot more to add, and I would just be repeating myself over and over and over again. So I'm gonna let you enjoy this sped up process, and then I'll come back later to say thank you for watching the video. See you in a bit. And that was it. With the start and is complete, that was every element that I wanted for this set. It happened to be 12 in total. Not that I had a number in mind when I started, I just like kept adding things until I was satisfied. And I'll show you one more time how the memo pad turned out. I did add a magnet to the back as well. Cute, cute, cute. I love this. I'm definitely going to keep one for myself. And I also love these little things as well. So yeah, this is how the packaging turned out, by the way. This is the backing card. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more like this. Bye!